What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, NVIDIA, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down some very important information about the markets, talk about some important data coming out as we approach Monday, what you should be watching for as time progresses for the markets. But let me just mention that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, and the offer ends very soon, just about 17 days. Anyways, I want to mention something else. So I'm actually recording this video on Saturday during the afternoon period, and the reason for that is because I'm going to be very busy on Sunday. I'm going to be attending a wedding, so I won't really have much time on Sunday. So I just want to note that this video, for this video, I can't really account for every single piece of news that's coming out. If there's some new news that comes out on Sunday, in case there's like a new pandemic or anything, I can't account for everything that's coming out on Sunday for news. So I'm just going to primarily focus on technicals for Saturday evening. Hopefully things don't change by Sunday and this is going to be completely fine. But I just want to note that I want to talk about something very important. As far as SPY goes, we have a nice double top like structure that is developing. But the question is this going to be a trap or not? As of right now, technicals are showing that we might see a little retracement for the markets, but this will depend on how we end up reacting to some key resistance levels. So I'll break down what the resistance levels happen to be for now, but just note two important things. Number one, for Monday, that's going to be July 15th, 2024. There's not really much data coming out in the morning. At 11:30 a.m., however, we have the 3-month and 6-month bill auctions coming out that could cause some volatility. And then we also have Jerome Powell giving a speech at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there might be some high volatility around 12:30, a little bit afternoon, and that's going to be very, very important. Whatever Jerome Powell says could be very important for the markets. The last time he spoke, he didn't try to say too much stuff, but the market still ended up just pushing anyways. So we're going to see what kind of reaction we get once he starts giving his speech. Now, approaching his speech, I wouldn't be surprised if the market does kind of like dip a little bit, but then we'll see what the reaction is once Jerome Powell starts opening his mouth, because you never know what he could end up saying. But just note that the last time the guy spoke, okay, the last time Jerome Powell spoke, he didn't really say much. He caused the market to be very choppy before it started to push upwards. He was very, very careful with his words, and he just started to say the same things again and again. So we'll see what he says this time around going into Monday. On top of all of this, we also have some big bank earnings coming out. On Monday, we have Goldman Sachs and BlackRock, not to mention First Bank after the market closes. But Goldman Sachs and BlackRock will be the two big ones to be watching for. This may cause some high volatility for the finance sector. Later on during the week, we also have Bank of America announcing earnings on Tuesday. Then we have a couple of others like Johnson Johnson and United on Wednesday. And then Thursday, so we have some big earnings. We have like Nokia, not to mention Netflix and TSMC. That's very, very important. I think Thursday will be one of the most important days with Netflix's earnings. Not to mention Monday and Tuesdays, we have big bank earnings as well. We also have like Morgan Stanley and Charles Schwab also on Tuesday. So I just want to call that all out. But for now, for Monday, we're just going to focus on Goldman Sachs and BlackRock just to see how things end up going for them. So that's it, at least for data. Now let's just talk about the charts. Looking at SPY, this is a very, very interesting looking setup. So going into Jerome Powell's speech, it looks to me like the market wants to dip a little bit. That looks more favorable looking at this setup, because look at the pattern we had. We had this nice little pump, we went a little bit higher, then we dumped, right? We pumped, went a little bit higher, and then we could see another dump back down towards our 20 EMA. But watch this 560 area on SPY. If we try to reclaim this, I'll be looking at 561.7. That's where SPY actually ended up holding resistance for the last time we ended up seeing a little pump. I'm going to actually pull up the 30 minutes time frame real quick just to show you that. That's going to be a very, very key resistance, 561.69. If that breaks, we're going to be looking for 564. If we end up losing support at 559, we'll be looking for a dip all the way down to 558 and then lower levels like 557. That's where our 20 EMA happens to be. But I personally think that if we fail to hold 560, SPY is going to be coming all the way down towards that support at 557. So make sure you watch the resistance levels. If we break past 560, we could turn back up. If not, we could be turning back down. What I think is the most likely possibility from a technical standpoint is we have a double top and we have this imbalance over here. We have a nice imbalance down here at 557. So I favor us kind of like popping, maybe failing to hold 560. That's going to be our trigger to come all the way down towards our 20 EMA in the 557s. And we'll see if we get a bounce or not. That will also depend on Jerome Powell's speech. But all I'm saying is that approaching Jerome Powell's speech, I think the market's going to be coming down. I think that's looking more favorable. And then once he opens his mouth, you never know what's going to happen. We'll see if Powell causes a big rug pull or not. But we are looking more favorable for downside approaching Jerome Powell's speech, in my personal opinion. For NVIDIA, now, this is very, very interesting. We're kind of shuffling right over here around our 20 EMA. We actually closed below it, which is not the best of signs. So watch that as resistance, that 130 area, then 132. Watch support at 129.61, 127.93. That's our 50 EMA. And if that fails, we're going to be coming back down. This looks to me like what could be happening is we have this high here. We come down. We were going to push a little bit to establish a lower high and then come back down again. That's what it's kind of looking like to me. And it's also kind of resembles like a slanted head and shoulders. So this does favor a little bit of downside that could be coming, especially after this liquidity grab on Friday. So what might happen is Nvidia pops and then drops back down to at least 127, if not 125. And then we'll see what Jerome Powell causes. Will he cause a rug pull? Will he cause the market to run? We'll just have to wait and see. The last PPI report was not that good. So we'll see what Jerome Powell says. For Bitcoin, we're at resistance. There's a lot of resistance in the 59,000 area. We actually touched that. So the last time we hit this level, we rejected 2 times on Bitcoin. To be bullish, you want to break past 60,000. If we fail to do so, the odds favor is coming back down to 58,000. So I think we might kind of pop and drop. I find that to be a lot more favorable. For ES, okay, ES kind of pumped and then dumped. We pushed all the way up towards about this 57,000 area, but then we dumped back down towards 56,000. Then we went back up. I'm sorry, 5,600, excuse me, guys. And then we ended up hitting 5,700 again, only to reject back down. So to me, it looks like there's going to be a little rebound and a continuation lower towards at least 56, 54 going into Monday. And if that fails us, we could be looking for another retest of our 50 EMA. But I think the 20 EMA is going to be tested at 56, 54, which suggests that SPY might see a little downside. The market may see a little bit of downside just starting off on Monday. Then we'll see what Jerome Powell causes. For Tesla, we're in a very, very interesting place. We're kind of consolidating near 250, but we closed below this, which is a little bit of a sign of weakness. We also closed below our 20 EMA, which is another sign of weakness. So this is favoring a move back down towards at least the 244 area, and we'll see if we get some kind of bounce off that or not. But I do think Tesla's going to dip a little bit and then try to rebound. To be bullish, I want to see it break past 252, but I'm favoring that what's more probable is we're going to be dipping back down to about the 245 area to 244, maybe go a little bit lower and then try to rebound depending on Jerome Powell's speech. But I see a little retracement coming to Tesla stock. The QQQ is looking no different. We had this high up here being established. We came down, established a lower high. So now we have resistance at 495. If we reject here, we're going to be coming back down towards this imbalance at 492. And then that all depends on how we end up reacting towards the 495.29 area. If we break past 495, we're going up to 498. If we reject off 495, we're going back down to 490. 492, then 490. What am I favoring? Well, we have a high here. We came down, we made a lower high. So this is favoring a move back down towards the lower 490s. I favor that a bit more, and I think that's more likely. We kind of come back down. So watch and see if that ends up being the case. That's going to be very important for us. So watch that very carefully. For Aapl, in my opinion, has this high up here around this 233 area. We came all the way down towards 225. We're rebounding towards 232, and now we're kind of coming back down again. So one concern I have about Aapl is the fact that we actually closed below not only a key level, but we like to kind of touch this 20 EMA. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to retest our 20 EMA. I think we're going to retouch 228 going into Monday. We'll see if Jerome Powell causes a big bounce back up to 232 after that, or if we end up losing 228. We'll look for a little retracement and see if we get a bounce or not, depending on how things go with Jerome Powell's speech. For Palantir, we're trying to rebound a bit. Technicals do still look a little bit more bullish. We might go a little higher towards 28.5, and we'll see what kind of reaction we get from here. So be very, very careful with that, and we'll see how things go. For Supermicro, we're trying to rebound a little bit. I could be looking for a retest of 920. The last time we hit 920, we came all the way back down towards the 870s. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see a big reaction here. If we break the 920 or close above that area, we're going to be pushing all the way up to 940 plus. If we end up rejecting off 920, look for a big move back down towards 889. I think we're going to push a little bit higher for Supermicro to retest 920. We'll see what kind of reaction we get from there from a technical standpoint. Rivian pushed up exactly as you predicted, but now it's looking like it has tough resistance in this 19 area. So it might retrace just a bit all the way back down to this key level. We could be retesting the 17 area as well. And I'll be watching that very, very carefully. Also, when you look at our key fib retracement areas as well, from like right over here, you guys can see we have this very, very interesting trend, how we have supported the 0.236 retracement at 17.5. So look for a retracement towards the 17.5 area, then 16.72. Very close to this imbalance at 17. We might be coming back down to the 17s and see if we get a bounce after that, but I do see a little retracement coming to Rivian. I find that to be very probable. So if I pushed after the bank earnings on Friday, which is a good piece of news since we have a nice double bottom, I did call this out as well. So this could continue to go a little higher towards 7.08 in my opinion, but whether or not that happens also depends on other big bank earnings, as we have Goldman Sachs coming out and a couple of others. So we'll have to see how things end up going with the big bank earnings. Will BlackRock and the others help us push up to the 7.1 area, or will we get a rejection back down to 6.5? This has more upside potential looking at the technicals, so it favors upside, so we'll see if that ends up being the case. For the IWM, I'm bullish overall, but we'll see if we get a little consolidation phase. It looks like it's going to consolidate a bit right over here around this 213 area. So tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised. By tomorrow, I mean Monday. I wouldn't be surprised if we come down and just kind of consolidate a bit, and then we'll see what kind of move we get. I think it's just going to consolidate for now, but it could see more upside potential later on down the line as we approach, next week. For ARM, we're trying to push a little bit higher as the 4 hour is looking a little bit more bullish. It might try to fill some balance, go up towards about 186, and we'll see if we get a rejection or not. But I do see a little pop coming, and we'll see what kind of reaction we get from there. For Coinbase, it's attempting to rebound, but it's struggling. It's really struggling to break past its 20 EMA. If we break past 219, look for a test of 222. And if we reject, we're going to be coming back down towards 215. It might try to go a little higher towards 220. We'll see what kind of rejection or reaction we get. It might reject, might kind of pop and drop. It did this like 4 times where it popped and dropped, popped and dropped, popped and dropped. It kind of popped again. So maybe we pop again, then start dropping. We could retest 220 and come back down to 215. That's looking a little bit more favorable to me. For AMC, we're also consolidating a bit. We're failing to break above, not AMC, sorry, Amazon. For Amazon, we're consolidating a bit. We failed to break past 195.6, so this is favoring a move back down towards 192. And we'll see what kind of reaction we get, but I do see this dipping a little bit more as the most likely possibility. To be bullish, you want to break past 196.84. If you want to be bullish, we haven't really broken past 196 yet, so it's favoring a move to the downside as a stronger possibility. For Meta, we're kind of dipping a bit. We're barely holding support at 497, so it's going to be key. If we hold this, we're going to be rebounding to about 508. If we don't hold 497, then say your prayers. This thing is going to be dipping all the way down to 485. So watch 497 as key support. We'll see if this holds or not, but there is going to be a risk of some downside. For Microsoft, we're kind of rejecting right over here. I'll be looking at support at 452. I think it might be dipping down towards that level, if not towards 450. So I do see a little bit of downside potential. For Google, we're also kind of rejecting here. We failed to break past 187.16. So this is favoring a move back down towards 185. So I see downside being a little bit more probable. For GameStop, in my opinion, is trying to uptrend right over here, but just notes that this 26.5 area is going to be resistance. I think we might push a little bit higher towards the 26.5 area, so it has more upside potential, and we'll see if that breaks. AMC is kind of consolidating. I am concerned about this head and shoulders like structure that's developing, but to be bearish, I want to see it lose 5.12. Otherwise, we're just consolidating for now. So we'll see how things go for AMC. We're kind of consolidating, so give it some time, and we'll be very, very patient nonetheless. There's a possible head and shoulders, so just be very careful with the charts. DJT is trying to rebound, especially as we approach some very important news next week. So look at resistance all the way up towards 31.85, close to 32. If this breaks, we're going all the way back up towards 34. And if you reject, we're going to be coming back down. I see some potential for us to try to push higher, so watch for a test of 31.85, and we'll see how things go. For the VIX, we're trying to rebound. We're actually kind of consolidating on the VIX, not really doing much, so it's not giving us much information about the markets. And then the 10-year Treasury yield is on a downtrend so far, not really doing much either. We'll see what Jerome Powell's speech causes tomorrow for this. We also have the dollar index dipping a little bit lower. It's actually at some key support. The last time we hit 104, we saw a big bounce. So we're going to be watching, will the dollar get a bounce, which causes the market to get a rug pull, or will we see something different? This will also depend on Jerome Powell's speech. So most tickers are showing some signs of consolidation, maybe a small dip that could be coming, approaching Jerome Powell's speech for tomorrow. We'll see if SPY gets that little dip. We have a double top like structure. There might be a little dip coming, but then don't turn too bearish quite yet. Let's wait and see what Jerome Powell causes. The last time he spoke, the market dipped and then bounced, so we'll see if we get a bounce or not. So just get ready for Jerome Powell's speech for tomorrow. With that being said, guys, I'm going to cut the video short from here. I want to thank you all so much for listening. I really appreciate you guys. And I'll see you guys very soon on the next one going into Monday. Have a great day, guys. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you. Mark you to the moon because the long term is still very bright despite the short term fluctuations. And peace out.